I'm Anita. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be making a pair of Festive tree light earrings. And it's very simple to make these. All you need are 11/0 seed beads. I'm using Miyuki. And you're going to need colors in a dark green. I'm using opaque red. And this is kind of like an opaque, very light lime color. And a luster yellow. Or you can use opaque as well. You'll also need a 4mm glass pearl and another 11/0 in brown. And if you don't have a 4mm pearl, you can substitute whatever 4mm you have in a brown color will be fine. You can use a fire polish. You also need a fireline. I'm using smoke today, 6 pound, and you need approximately 46 inches of fireline. And I'm using a size 10 beading needle. You're going to need a pair of flat nose pliers and a sharp pair of scissors. You're also going to need wire guardians and a couple of ear wire hooks. Now, if you don't have wire guardians, you can certainly do the modification and put your hook at the very top, and I'll explain that to you at the end. It's not required, but if you have it, it just gives it a nice finished look. Okay, so to start, we're going to thread our needle. And what I like to do for you beginners, this is a tip for you, if you have trouble threading needles, what I do is I take my flat nose pliers and I squish the fireline at the tip. And that helps make it a lot easier to thread your needle. So as you can see, it goes right through. So we'll just pull that through. So we're going to start by picking up 4 11/0 seed beads in the green. And you're going to bring that down. You want to leave a tail of about, I'm going to say 8 to 10 inches, because we're going to use that to do our bottom part of the earring. So about 8 to 10 inches should be fine for your tail. So now that you have your 4 11/0s, you want to bring your needle back through all 4 beads, like that. Pull that through. Just pull those together. And they'll be situated kind of like a little box. So now what I want to do is I want to reinforce this. Since this is the beginning of my row, I'm going to go back through the 2 beads on the left. And then down the 2 beads on the right. So that's what you should have. So this is your tail thread over here, and this is your working thread. So now we're going to pick up 2 more 11/0s in green, and I'm coming down the opposite side of where my thread is, like that. Just hold that together, pull, and now bring your needle back through the last 2 beads you just added. Now we're going to pick up 1 red and 1 green. Bring your needle through the opposite side again. And then bring your needle through the last 2 beads you added. Now you're going to pick up 2 greens and repeat, going through the opposite side and back through the 2 you just added. Now you're going to pick up 2 more greens, go through the opposite side, pull your thread, and then advance your needle through the last 2 beads you added. So it's a simple ladder stitch to start. So now you're going to pick up a dark green bead and a light green bead. Bring your needle down through the opposite side, pull, and now advance your needle through the two you just added. Now we're going to pick up 2 more green. Repeat that step. Bring your needle down through. Pick up 2 more green. And try to keep your work consistently snug. Now bring your needle through the last 2 you added. Now we're going to pick up a yellow and a green. Yellow and then green. Bring your needle through the opposite side and down through the 2 you just added. So to end this row, we're picking up 2 more green seed beads, going through the opposite side and back through the 2 you just added. Very simple pattern. So that's the first row, and that's what you should have. Okay, for our next row, we're picking up 4 green seed beads, and your working thread should be facing up. So now you're going to be going under, we're going to be doing brick stitch, so we're going under the second thread bridge. So this is your first thread bridge here. We're going under this second one here. So that's what it should look like. So now we want to reinforce by bringing our needle back through these first 2 beads, like that. Then bring your needle down through the 2 beads on the right. And then back up the 2 beads on the left. And what that will do is that will help square that up a little better so that they're right next to each other and there's no gap. And you'll have to do that at the beginning of each row, whichever side you're starting your stitches on. And so from here, we'll continue adding just 2 beads at a time. So each row will be 4 beads, and then from then on, it'll be 2 beads each. So what we need to pick up now is a red and a green. And we're going under the next thread bridge, right here. Now you want to bring your needle back up through those 2 beads, being careful that you're going up through those beads and that you're not going under the thread bridge again, because you don't want to undo your work. And if that happens, just resituate your beads and try again, because that will happen sometimes. So that's what you should have. So now we're picking up 2 greens, going under the next thread bridge. Now bring your needle back up through the 2 you just added. Pick up 2 more green beads and go under the next thread bridge. Now back up the 2 beads you just added. So now we're going to pick up a light green bead, and a dark green bead. Go under the next thread bridge. Now back up the 2 you added. Now we're picking up 2 green beads all the way across. So you're going to do this 4 times, picking up 2 green beads, going under the next thread bridge. Now back up the 2 beads you added. And you're going to repeat that 3 more times. So go ahead and do that. Pick up 2 green, go under the thread bridge that's next in line, and repeat that 3 more times, and I'll meet you right back. Okay, I'm down to my last 2 seed beads. Going back up those 2 I added. So that's what it should look like so far. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up 2 green, 1 yellow, and 1 green. Your thread should be coming out of this end set here. You want to go under the second thread bridge, which is right here. Now bring your needle back through these last 2 beads you added, and we're going to reinforce. And then come down the beads on the left, and then up the 2 beads on the right. And now we're ready to continue by picking up 2 more green beads, and we're adding in increments of 2 for the rest of the row. Go under the next thread bridge, and continue as we normally do our brick stitch by going back up through the 2 beads you just added. Pick up 2 more green beads and continue. If it gets crooked on you, just pull your thread and straighten it out. So we're going to pick up 2 more green beads, go under the next thread bridge, and back up those 2. So that's what you should have so far. Now we're picking up a red and a green. Go under the next thread bridge and continue. Now you're going to pick up 2 green beads and continue. Go under the next thread bridge, pick up 2 more, and then do 2 more for the end. So you're doing 3 sets of 2 in the green for these last 3, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm back, and here's what you should have. These 3 at the end, and you've got a yellow one here and a red one here. So now for our next row, we're picking up 2 greens, 1 yellow, and 1 green. You're going under the second thread bridge, going back up the 2 you just added, go down the 2 on the right, and then back up the 2 on the left. That's what you should have. So now we're going to pick up 2 greens, go under the next thread bridge, and back up those 2. Pick up 2 more and repeat. Pick up 2 more. Now pick up a light green and a dark green and continue. Now pick up 2 dark green and repeat that one more time, and then I'll meet you at the end. So you're doing 2 dark green and 2 dark green, and that will complete that row. Okay, I've just completed adding these 2 sets of green. Now we're going to pick up 2 greens, 1 red, and 1 green. So our thread is coming out at this end. We want to go under the second thread bridge. Reinforce, go up those last 2 you added, down the 2 on the left, and then up the 2 on the right. So now we're going to pick up 2 greens and continue. Now you're going to pick up a yellow and a green. Go into the next thread bridge, back up the 2 you just added. So now what you're going to do is you're going to add 2 green, 2 green, and 2 green. So go into the next thread bridge, add 2 green here, and do that a total of 3 times, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, I'm coming down to adding my last 2. Going back up that. Okay, I just added my last 2 and went back up those last 2 I added. Now we're going to pick up 2 dark green, 1 light green, and 1 dark green. Going under the second thread bridge, reinforce. Go back up the 2 you just added, and so forth. So now we're going to add 2 greens, go under the next thread bridge, go back up the 2 you added, and you're going to repeat that 3 more times, and I'll meet you back. Okay, I'm coming down to my last 2 green beads here, going under that last thread bridge, then back up the 2, and if your tail gets in the way, just pull that out, pull snug, and now we're ready to start our next row. So this is what you should have so far. So now we're going to pick up 2 green, 1 yellow, and 1 green. Threads coming out over here, going under the second thread bridge. And reinforce. That's what you should have for this step. Now we're picking up 2 more green, and continue. Now we're picking up a red and a green. It doesn't take long to make a pair of these. It goes pretty quick. So you can probably do a pair of earrings in less than an hour. So we're picking up our last two green and going under that last thread bridge. So you can see we're getting near the end here. So now we're going to pick up 4 green beads. Like that. Coming out here, going under the second thread bridge. And reinforce. Now we're picking up a light green bead and a dark green bead. Now pick up 2 dark green beads and that completes this row. Now we're going to pick up 2 dark green beads, 1 red bead, and 1 dark green bead. Go under the second thread bridge, reinforce, pick up 2 more dark green beads and go into the last thread bridge. So we're coming to our last row. We're picking up 4 dark green beads, going under the second thread bridge, and reinforce. So go back up the 2 you just added. Now go down the 2 on the right. And up the 2 on the left. Now this completes the top of the earring. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my wire guardian. But if you don't have a wire guardian, this is where I'm going to explain to you. You would just want to reinforce these 4 beads 4 times, or not 4 times, 3 times I think would be sufficient. And then you can add your earring hook here if you don't have a wire guardian, or if you don't want to use a wire guardian, you can certainly do without. But I prefer to include it. On mine, I think it just gives it a nice finished look. So from here, I'm going to pick up my wire guardian. And I'm going to bring my needle down the other side and then down through the wire guardian and those 2 seed beads. And pinch your fingers together so that when you pull the thread, it goes down through the channel like that. So I'm going to reinforce this 2 more times. So I'm going back through those 2 beads and the wire guardian. Now come down through the wire guardian and the 2 beads on the right. Pull, making sure your thread seats correctly. And I'm going to reinforce one more time. Then down. So now I'm just going to advance my needle down through 2 beads at a time. And I'm going to do 1 half hitch knot here. You don't have to do a knot. If you'd rather just weave, you can do that as well. So a half hitch knot, just bring your needle through the thread bridge and then your needle through the loop and pull. And then I'm going to just advance through a few more beads. And I think that is sufficient. So I'm going to clip my thread right here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our tail thread and complete the bottom part of our earring. And all we're adding is the little tree stump at the bottom. So take your needle and your thread's coming out of this far end here. We want to be in the center. So I'm counting over 6. So I want my thread coming out of this 6th one here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. This is where I want my thread coming out of. So I'm going to advance 2 beads at a time, like this. Now I'm going to go through these 2. Now I'm coming up through the next 2, like that. Now I'm going to advance through these 2 that are adjacent to where that red bead is. Now I'm going to come down this light green and dark green bead right here. And now I'm going to advance my needle through these 2 green beads right here to the right of that light bead. That's the center of my tree. So from here I'm going to pick up my 4mm pearl. And if you don't have a pearl, you can use check fire polish or anything with a brownish color, or anything really, if you want to do something different. So now I'm going to pick up this 11/0 seed bead in brown, and I'm going to bring my needle back through the pearl and back through where I came through. That's those 2 green beads right there. Pull your thread. Now you're going to reinforce that. So we're going to advance our needle through these 2 green beads here to turn around. Now I'm coming down these 2 beads here on the right. And I'm going to come down those 2 green beads that are over the pearl. And I'm also coming through the pearl, like that. Now coming through the 11/0 at the bottom, and then back up the pearl, back through the 2 green beads we started at, right there. So that completes the bottom. So all I'm going to do is weave this thread back and forth through these 2 rows at the bottom. And I don't really think it's necessary to do knots here. It's not going anywhere. So I've woven it back and forth. I'm coming out the bottom here, and I'm going to clip this right here. So for our last step, all we're going to do now is complete by adding our ear wire hook at the top. So just take your ear wire, and I'm going to open this by bending this towards me like that. Pop that on, and then close that so that it's snug and there's no gaps. And that completes your Christmas tree festive light earrings. Aren't those cute? They're so adorable. I found this online. I can't remember which which person it was that did this, but there's so many variations that you can do this in. I was experimenting, and I wanted to see what it looked like with the balls all one color. So here's a pair I did with the balls in white. It kind of looks like little snowdrops on the tree. But you could do it all in one color if you wanted to do all red, or if you wanted to get fancy, do all gold balls. That would be really pretty too. So there's lots of different ways that you can try to make these earrings. So it was a lot of fun making these, and it didn't take very long. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you're not a subscriber yet, I hope that you do subscribe and share the link with your family and friends. Give me a thumbs up and feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you can send me an email. My email is in the description box. I also sell my own jewelry, so you'll see a link to my website in the description box if you click more at the bottom of this video. I'm also going to include a link to all the suppliers of where you can get some of these beads. It was a very fun project. I want to wish all of you very happy holidays. Have a safe holiday and Happy New Year if I don't see you for another video until after the holidays. But I will be posting a lot more new stuff coming soon, so keep watching. Thank you again for watching, and happy beading.